Hey y'all, welcome to the Good, Bad, and the Beautiful podcast. I'm Maddie.
And I'm Bree. And this is where real people share real stories for God's glory.
From raw testimonies to deep conversations about life, faith, and purpose, this podcast is a reminder that beauty can be found in every chapter, even the messy ones.
Wholesome, heartfelt, sometimes funny, sometimes heavy, always real. Pull up the seat and get ready to be encouraged.
Period. Hey y'all, welcome back to the Good, Bad, and the Beautiful podcast. I'm Maddie.
And I'm Bree.
And we hope, it's been a long time. It's been since
2 months.
Yeah, it's been a while. So we just hope that everybody had a blessed and Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. It's 2026.
Mm-hmm.
That's absurd.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, New Year, right? So yeah, this episode we're swinging it in with season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing in the new year with that, and this episode is going to be short, sweet, and simple to the point, kind of like our first ever episode when we were just introducing ourselves and where the podcast formed and came from. We're just going to pretty much just share what's been up with us the past 2 months we've been out, which was completely by accident. We didn't plan to be out that much, but
let's just say
honestly,
November was a nightmare.
Yeah.
For me at least.
Yeah, a lot of things happened for us, and life just happened, and
the holidays hit.
Yeah.
And
but it was necessary. It was needed. It was needed. So we were like, you know what? This can just be a time that we are, out taking care of the things that we need to take care of in our life. Get back on track and in the swing of some things, and then we'll just ring in the new year with season 2. So here we are. Do you want to start with some things?
Sure.
Go ahead, tell us what you been up to.
So actually, the last day that we filmed, we did our Halloween episode, and we did it the day after Halloween. It was on November 1st and everything. Yeah. That day was completely chaotic for me for so many different reasons, and some of them I can't share, but let's just say it was definitely things where I was I never thought I would live through this experience.
Yeah.
I never thought that I would see this, and I was I called her, and I was just shaking. And so that was how the month started. And then 2 days later, I lost my job. So that's always a very chaotic time.
Yeah.
I went into work and I had concerns about one thing. And then it was oh, actually you have 10 days left. I was oh, okay.
It was an answered prayer though.
It was in some ways, yes. It's never fun to be unemployed.
No.
But it was a good change. So I guess since then, I've lived through a lot of stress. I have a new job. I started as a long-term sub at a private Christian school here in Lexington because the teacher that was there had to move for her husband's job, and so they were it would be this long. I was okay. I was at least I know teaching, obviously. That was what I went to school for, what I did for 2 years. And then I accepted a full position, after interviewing there, which a lot of my coworkers found weird. They're you literally already had an interview and everything.
And
yeah, because I had to I had to get in front of the board and stuff so that they would see, do I match up with my character and everything, which I understand and I appreciate, because again, it is a Christian school, and I wanted them to see, it's not just something that I say to get a job, that it's something that I truly want to live out in my everyday life. But I'm a 5th grade teacher, which is great. I've never taught before. Actually, when I first got hired ever for teaching, it was to be a 5th grade math teacher.
Really?
And then
now look.
I was halfway through. Where was I? So when I graduated college, I started an internship because one of my mom's best friends worked at a kind of insurance agency for specifically dental practices in Kentucky, and they needed interns. And I was it's computer work, I make good money, you know. So I was doing that, and I went to work one day, and one thing about me, I hate parallel parking. It is my worst nightmare.
Me too.
But this part where this building is
nice and smooth.
I don't want to do it. Well, this building is right in the middle of downtown Lexington. So the parking lot is all, sorts of jumbled.
Yeah.
So I was trying to parallel park. Well, one thing that was weird is a number popped up on my phone. I was like, I don't know who this is. So I answered it. I was like, hello? And it was my principal. But it had showed up as like a completely random number, even though I had his number saved.
Huh.
So anyway, he called me and he was like, I've really, like, they had interviews for like other third grade teachers at the time because they needed like so many teachers and everything. He was like, I'd really like to move you to third grade if that's okay with you. And I was like, I mean, if you think like that's what is best. And so, yeah, but I was originally hired for my first ever teaching job to be a 5th grade math teacher only. And then I was moved to 3rd grade. And that was like halfway through the summer. So I was already like, I have to move all the stuff from my classroom that was already in it to the other side of the school. And so the teacher who had retired had literally left everything. Like her spare pair of shoes and her coat were still in the closet. Her notes that she'd been taking were still on the desk. So when I say I probably spent a month just going through everything, I mean, she had her notes from like the 90s in like file cabinets. Jeez. So anyway, but let's all pray for me because I have to start teaching my children's fractions next week, and there may just be days like where we all cry.
Yeah, I've never been to fractions. I've never been to math.
I've never been a math person either, but you know, I'm like, okay, we're gonna be fine. I was like, if I can see the answer, then I can like figure out how to work it in my head. But if I just look at something, which makes it hard because one of my students is in 5th grade, but he's a grade ahead of math. So he does 6th grade math right now. And he's been that way since 1st grade. That was like when he skipped a whole grade in math. Yeah. And like it makes sense in his head. Like he can literally look at a problem and be like, oh, it's this. And I'm over here like, I don't know how you did that.
No, I can't.
But
I have to, when I'm like leaving a tip at the restaurant, I literally have to like be like,
yeah, like, you have to think about it. But he was literally crying over something yesterday because he was getting frustrated, and I was like, don't do that because I'm gonna cry too, and then we'll both be crying over math. But anyway, so yeah, that's where I'm at with that. I'm very excited. I launched a new business, which was kind of something I'd already done, where I do a lot of banners that I paint, but I kind of like expanded it to planning like children's birthday parties, baby showers, and everything like that. And because I know that there's a lot of people in Lexington like who do like super fun things, like Maddie does like balloon arches and everything and like backdrops. And I was like, I love that, but I love doing like all the parts of it. So it's like a full planning and design where like I'll design like your invitations, decor, find the links for things and whatnot, and things along like those lines. And then yeah, I feel like that's been a lot of my life. Is just getting used to my new job. I'm working on building that business. I still work for wedding planners. I already have like 12 weddings booked this year. Oh, wow. Yeah, and I mean that the year just, I mean, it's only January 10th. So, oh, my birthday was yesterday. That's another thing. Yeah. I'm officially a quarter of a century old, and I don't feel any different, but I'm now like, I have 364 days until I have to pay for insurance on my own, so.
I still I had a new client yesterday come in, and we had a consult, and she was asking me how old I was, and I was like 25, and I was like, no, I'm not. I'm 26. And I turned 26 in July. Yeah. So I still say that I'm 20, and I forget. No, I'm almost 27. That's wild. Anyways, so yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, you don't feel any different. You don't. And then you forget. Like you literally start forgetting your age.
I think, and I'm like, I don't even have kids. Like I don't have an excuse. Like I have kids, but I mean, my class size is like over half smaller than what I'm used to because it's a private school. Yeah. And so yeah.
Those are your babies for now.
Yeah, they're my babies for now, actually. So they're 5th graders, so they're gonna graduate. Well, my first class I ever taught is 5th grade, and they graduate this year. And I'm like, I'm gonna try to go to their graduation too. And I'm like, I'm just gonna be like a hot mess express, like bawling my eyes out because my first group of babies is graduating. And there's just like something special about like that first class that like you have. And I'm like, it's fine. Like, I'm fine. I'm like, it's only January, Leon. I'm like, you don't have to cry over it yet.
And speaking of babies,
Maddie is.
I'm having a baby. Another baby. This is... Oh, gosh. Bree was with me when I found out.
It was actually...
Yeah.
Should we tell the story of it?
Yeah,
it
we
hilarious.
should.
Okay, so to set you up, we found out in October that she was pregnant.
Yeah.
Well,
Dang,
the
has it
month
been that
before,
long?
she had called me at work and thought she was pregnant.
And I wasn't.
And she
No,
wasn't.
I wasn't
But
at
in
all.
all honesty, if we think about it...
No, I found it. No, I did find it in October. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
In all actuality, though, it was probably like a few days later that like you would have like become pregnant.
You're right. It was.
Like,
no,
because
it was that. Yeah, it was like literally that day.
Like that day. Like, I'm not pregnant. And then like I'm babysitting a month later, and she's like, she called me and I was like, "Are you pregnant?"
Let me tell the story before that. So the night before, I had been having a feeling that I was, but I was like, no, I'm not. There's no way I am. But like, just my body when you know, okay? Like, I was at my friend's house cleaning, and some of the cleaning supplies were literally like winding me, like making me like lightheaded. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. But I'm like, no, you're tripping. And then like the night before, I had Mexican. And, like, usually when I have Mexican and I have me, like, a drink, I'm fine. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm fine, I was so sick from Mexican food and a margarita. Okay? So sick. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense. I was like, I literally have Mexican once a week. Mm-hmm. If you know me,
she loves her
sometimes
Mexican,
twice.
So
okay?
She's sick from it.
So I'm like, this ain't normal. But I'm like, maybe I'm just not feeling good. Maybe I have a stomach bug or something, because that was going around. But I'm like, no. So that night, my husband was not home. He was at men's Bible study, and the kids were asleep, and I was just in my thoughts. Like, I was in my bed and just laying there scrolling, doom scrolling. And what is funny though is I came across this one of my favorite influencers. She's a Christian influencer, and she had just shared her birth story, and I even sent it to you. I think the banner that was I forget her name. I love her, and I don't even know her name. I forget her name, but it was the banner.
Sophie.
No, it wasn't Sophie. No, she has short red hair. She's so cute. She sings. Her husband is, anyways. But it was the banner that she had. Like, she was surrendering her birth on the banner. Yeah. So basically, she had a home birth, and she had these banners, like the brown banners that you do, and she had like this whole prayer, just surrendering her entire birth and her baby to God. And I screenshotted it because I was like, I love that. Mm-hmm. Like, if I ever have the opportunity to, have a child again and give birth again, I want it to be, not that my other births weren't holy, but I just want it to be whole. You know what I mean?
As you grow in like your faith,
yes,
like your first
you learn
pregnancy
things
to now,
like it's crazy.
Of things have changed in life.
Yes. So I'm like, I want all of this encouragement in my room. Like, I just want it surrounded by me, prayer, all these things. So I screenshotted it, and I was like, you know what? Whatever. I could that same night. Not even an hour. I don't even think it was 30 minutes. I had the timestamps on my phone. I showed Chelsea the other day, and she was like, whoa. But I was like, I wonder if I have a pregnancy test. And I'm like, no, I'm not pregnant. So I opened up the bottom drawer in my bathroom, and sure enough, there is one pregnancy test. Just one. And I'm like, okay, I guess we're doing it. So I did it, and it was like, I'm sitting there, and I'm like, no. But it was such a faint blue line. And I'm like, no. So I FaceTimed Bree. This is when I FaceTimed her. And I showed her, and she was like, are you pregnant? And I was like, I don't know. I really didn't know, because it was so faint. She
had that one test.
Yeah.
So
that's all I had. I was babysitting. Like, where you at?
Yeah. I was babysitting, and so I literally I babysat for this family for like 4 years. So,
and they don't live far from me either.
No,
so it was like perfect.
Yeah. And it's like, when you are, especially like talking to like a mom, like when you get to know like a mom like so well, because again, like she's trusting you like with her babies. Yeah. Like, it's not a small thing. And I texted her. I was like, hey, I know this is really weird, actually, but do you know when you'll be home? Because I need to go take my friend a pregnancy test. And she is like all about it, right? She was like, oh, I actually have like a ton of like pregnancy tests, and like because she like mass orders like the boxes like on Amazon, so it's still like, you know, like the older like the like little tiny ones, which are supposed to be like very like the most accurate. Isn't that
they're not the early testing ones, but they are good and accurate if you're like not early.
So she was like, I can give you like some of those when I get home, and I'll be home at this time. I was like, okay, great. So I'm texting Maddie, and then she comes home and she's like, I'll go get the test. And it's just like the moment where I'm like, I never thought I'd be asking a mom I babysit for, hey, do you have pregnancy tests? They're not for me, actually. And so she brings them to me. I literally send Maddie a picture, and I'm like holding them like this, and I'm like, I got the good.
We're gonna have to make a reel of like these times. Yes. No, we will. Be on the lookout for that. We'll make a reel of all this.
I go to her house, and then we take them, right? And we're still like,
this is recorded too at this time on video.
Yes. And I'm like, it was faint, but
she goes, like, oh, Maddie, that's pregnant.
I was like, you are so pregnant.
And I'm like, are we sure though? And I literally was like, will you sit here at my house? Because my kids were asleep. Yeah. Like, and I have a Family Dollar literally right up the street from my house. So I was like, I will be right back. So she sits in my dining room. I know, girl, I'm in my robe, in my slippers. I'm in it all, honey. No bra, girl. I'm just winging it. In my literally short little pajama set, like in my robe. In all its glory, honey, walking up into the Family Dollar. Okay, but they know me by now because that's where I usually go to get my monthly pregnancy test. Because me and my husband, I don't take birth control. Like I just no. Anyways, that's a whole story. But yeah. So I go in and I go to the back get the pregnancy test. I bought like
$32 worth. You came back and I was like, what did you get?
So many.
Like 10. I was like, what are you doing?
So, oh man. So the first thing I peed on was, of course, the digital one because that is a no-brainer. That tells you straight up not pregnant or pregnant. And we're just waiting there. I don't know if you've ever taken them. You know how long it takes for them to load, okay? So we're just sitting there and we're like,
I know, we're on the phone with our friend too and everything.
You can hear her in the video too. Like I said, I'm gonna make a reel of all this because I think it'd be so fun to share that and like the video and everything like that. But yeah. So that was just that was a night that like it hit me in a lot of emotions. And one of our dear friends had just experienced a miscarriage, and I just had served her like literally the day before and the day after that, like just as she was going through this. And I've also experienced miscarriage. So like, yeah. So like just a lot of emotions were hitting me at once. Cause it's like, I was feeling the sense of like guilt because I'm like, somebody I love so much just went through losing a baby. And here I am finding out I'm gaining a baby, like, you know. And then I also have the scares of myself still of experiencing a miscarriage as well, and then, you know, having somebody just go through it too. So that fear, like, just I was experiencing a lot of emotions. Also an emotion of feeling like I wasn't ready for a fourth one. Just a lot of things were running through my brain. But I was also, there was a side of me that was excited because, you know, I love babies and it's sad when you see your babies grow up and it's like, you know, so yeah, just a lot of emotions were going through me at the time. And in the video you can see,
yeah, she was
like, I was stressed.
Like, I'm going to make her feel okay.
Yeah, I was stressed. And honestly, like to this day, like, it's gotten better. Like, I've definitely grown a lot more excited and I'm very happy. But like, I went through, this is what I've been going through the past little time we've been gone. I've just experienced this pregnancy, a lot of things that I didn't experience in my past ones. I've been going through some prenatal like depression. It's mainly been depression, not so much anxiety. It's been a little bit of anxiety, but it's been more of the depression side. And for the longest, I mean, I just disassociated myself. Like, I really did. And I just was like, why do I feel like this, you know? And it was a lot. And finally, there was one appointment that I went to that I just broke. Like, the midwife comes in, and the first thing, they say when they come in the door is like, hey, how are you? How have you been? And my son is with me. Mason, my oldest, is with me. And I couldn't help it. Like, I just broke down in tears. And she was like, oh my goodness, like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I don't know anymore. And like, honestly, like, my first appointment, I was feeling these things, but like, Bree was with me on my first appointment. I was telling Nicole this, and it's like, I love Bree. I'm really close with Bree, obviously, and she's obviously a sister in Christ and somebody who would lift me up. But like, there's still that awkwardness in that side of you that doesn't want people to know what you're going through. So like, during that appointment, I'm like, they ask, how are you? Like, they give you that sheet to fill out with all the like questions, like, how are just to see how you're feeling, and and I'm like, just bull crapping through it because that Bree's with me. That didn't, so.
And the number of times I've cried in front of Maddie.
And if you know me, I'm not a crier. I don't like crying in front of people. I don't like showing my emotions. So like, that's something I've also worked on. Yeah. So yeah, I was just like, I can't do this right now with Bree in the room. And of course, the day I do it, my oldest son, who is only 5, is in the room. But that's how long I'd been holding on to it to myself.
And like, it's just like a small thing, like the simplest thing will like make you break through and hold it. And that goes for anyone, not just like someone who is pregnant, but literally anyone.
And like, in my past, I've struggled with major anxiety, major depression. And then with my oldest son, I actually went through a really, really bad postpartum journey. And thank you, Jesus, with my other 2 babies, I caught, did not go down that hole. But I have been healed from my anxiety and my depression. So like, whenever I started going through all of this, I was like, there's no way. Like, like, kind of questioning like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Like, why am I experiencing this? I've been healed from this. So just a lot of things. So when my midwife, and if you also know me, I've tried to stray away just from my personal experience from antidepressants. I'm not against them. I think we obviously have them for a reason, but just my personal experiences and stuff, I just felt it wasn't for me, and that there were other things that I could like, try to do to help other than take that. So when my midwife, that's the first thing she said was, now I know, but, and in that moment, like, I was just like, okay, like, I sat there for a second and I was like, okay, like, what do I do? Like, what do I do? Like, really, really, what do I do? And I just felt this sense of peace and God say, like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And I'm on a very small dose, literally 10 milligrams of one I've actually never tried before. So I also considered that. Like, I've never had it before. I'm going to be on a really small dose where I am pregnant. And it's like, it's nothing crazy.
Yeah.
And she made it sound so like easy too. She was like, doesn't mean you have to be on it forever. Like, in the springtime.
Well, I don't think they're also made. Because that's not how God.
No,
of course, if you need like that help,
yes,
then you need like that help.
That help,
and it's fine.
Yeah, I think I just needed it like in that time. But like, I've also been learning through this too, because I will be honest, I even went through a funk where I just stopped getting in His Word consistently, and when that happens too, we've talked about this before. Everything else just crumbles because you're not filling yourself in His presence, one, and you're not, honestly, you can say all day long and in your mind that you're relying on Him, but it's like, are you?
Yeah.
Are you though? Because you're not in your Word, you're not, you know what I mean?
And it's hard because
it is.
The first time that I started experiencing major anxiety and panic attacks, I was like, I feel like my whole life had been like, I can do it. And that's how I was my first time.
Yeah.
And I was fine, major quotations on that if you're just listening. But the second time that I faced it, I was literally, like, there was a moment, like, in my mind where I just feel like I was praying and, like, I heard the Lord say, you can do this half-heartedly, or you can go all in. And the healing that I experienced, especially like from my family who'd obviously seen me during my first like kind of season of major, they were like, the healing that you've experienced. Because like the first time I went through it, I would say it took me, I don't even know, like a year and a half to truly feel like myself again.
Yeah.
And this time it was in like 5 or 6 months, you know? And now along with that, I had been on an antidepressant already, and they put me on a different one, and it was like a whole like different category, and that was definitely something I needed, because I was coming home from work every day and crying, which is not, that's a sign something is wrong. But it's just crazy, like, because you don't always think about it.
No, you don't. And then for me, I look back to when I found out I was pregnant, like even when I was pregnant, like I lost one of my best friends, not like she didn't die or anything like that, but like
that
I just
is like paused or ended
lost her. Yeah, it's just been a season that is paused or ended. Yeah, and we were friends for a very long time, and I mean, I love her. Like I still love her to this day, and I wish nothing but the best for her. So like that happened during my pregnancy. And she was also somebody that I instantly told out. So, like, just a lot of things. So, like, that happened. And then, you know.
It's, like, also people who are close to your kids.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And like, she was very close to my kids.
Other, like
my kids adored her. You know, like, just a lot of things. And then, you know, the thing with my other friend who had lost a baby. But I am happy to say that she has been redeemed. And she is pregnant again. So, we are pregnant together. Which
is beautiful.
That's another thing. And it's, like, the more that I got into my pregnancy and was like preparing to tell her, the more God prepared me to tell her by reassuring me that she would be redeemed and that we would still be pregnant together. So I was literally on my way to her house to tell her that I was pregnant, and she did not know she was pregnant yet. And I was on the phone with our other friend, who is really great, wise counsel. And I was just talking to her, and I was just like, I just have a feeling she's going to be pregnant next month. And we're going to be pregnant together. And she goes, I do too. Like, I really do too. Like, I do. And sure enough, she literally found out she was pregnant. And that day I told her, it was such a beautiful, like, moment. But I was like, you're going to be pregnant next month. And she goes, no, I'm not. And I was like, yeah, you are. And she goes, we're not even trying. I was like, sure you're not. Like, you know, I was like, well, you're going to be pregnant next month.
They also don't use birth.
No, they don't use birth control either. No. So it's
you
like,
know, you could not be, you know.
But we, you know, it was beautiful. So like her finding out she was pregnant again and like it was just, yeah. So like, I was like, thank you, God. Like, thank you, Jesus. And we're both having little boys. So so I'm really excited that has been redeemed. And yeah, so that side of things has been fixed, you know, but, yeah, just a lot of things. Like, I'm a mom of 3 already. I've experienced 2 miscarriages. 1 miscarriage I didn't even know was happening until it happened.
Yeah.
So, not that wasn't sad and, like, really sucked that my body went through that, and then I had to, like, process that all in one day.
You have to also be like, oh, I was pregnant.
Yeah, like, oh, I was pregnant, didn't know it. There was, yeah, so it was a lot. But my second miscarriage hit a lot different because I had carried this baby for 12 weeks. Like, I went to my first appointment, heard its heartbeat, saw it, all the things, and then, like, it was just crazy. That was crazy. So now being pregnant, even when I got pregnant with Anna Lee, and Isaac, it's just so scary.
It's like that fear.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, it can happen to any
time
at any like, point.
And then I think of a really her husband's a pastor at a church here in Lexington, and I've met her a couple times. She's a really sweet girl. She just lost her baby at 18 weeks. And then one of my favorite influencers, she just lost her baby at 20 weeks. They went to their 20-week anatomy scan, literally found out what they were having, and that their baby was gone all in one day. And, like, I just think of all these things. And as a mom, like, it's like, I don't care how many childbirths you birthed. Like, every time you get pregnant, you still fear these things. They're normal fears. Like, every mom has these thoughts. If you say you don't, you're lying. But you do. You just have these fears, even up until birth. And you give birth. And, like, who was it? It was a client of mine that Katie, my client Katie. She just told me her birth story. It's the first time I had her since she had her baby. He's like almost a year. No, he is a year. And she was telling me her birth story, and she had him, and then she had to go back into the hospital just a day from being home. Like, they had literally just been home for a day, and she had postpartum preeclampsia.
My mom almost died giving birth to me.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, you know, all these things like, women have to think, you know, like,
yeah,
go
it's just
through.
like things you don't think about.
No.
My mom wouldn't stop bleeding after she had me. So if her doctor hadn't made the decision to pack her womb, like, she wouldn't be here.
See, that's scary.
And it's not something you expected. She didn't have any, like, issues, like, during her pregnancy. No. So it's just, again, you know, like that, being constantly, like, with God and, you know, being like, take, like, these fears away.
Yes.
You know, because, like, we can acknowledge, the lights just went out, LOL.
It's okay. Do I need to turn it on?
No, I don't think so.
I don't either. Got the natural
But it's like, you can acknowledge that they're real, because obviously those things have happened.
Yeah.
But, you know, you can choose to walk into it with every single fear in the world and, like, let that bring you down, or trust completely in God and know that, like, no matter what happens, that He is still good and that He has you. So,
and that's where, like, surrendering,
which is easier for me to say because I'm not pregnant right now. So,
and that's where surrendering it all to Him comes into play, which is something, if I'm being quite frank and honest, is that I'm still working on. Like, I still am working on, is like completely just surrendering it to Him. And, like, we live in a cute ranch style home right now, and it's like, so I'm thinking of all those things, like, you know, this is gonna be cramped up in here, you know what I mean? But it's like, I also have to think about, like, I am so grateful to have this roof over my head. And then I think back, like, He takes me back to how we got that house, and, like, that story in itself of, like, how we got there and where we were before, and just all these things. And I'm like, you know, thank you, God. Like, we don't need a new home. We don't need one. We can make this work. Yeah. But we may want one. We may want more space. We may want Him and all the kids to have their own room, but, like, we don't need that. So, like, He's continuing to humble me through the process of all the things that, like, I am worried about. But yeah, so yeah, I've just been going through that, like, just processing my pregnancy still, and then I'm processing too, like, just trying to kind of figure out and navigate, like, where He wants me in my business after I have a fourth one. You know, 4 kids, that, you know, it's a lot. And, you know, I feel like, especially in the beginning, all hands need to be on deck. 4 kids, like, Anna Lee will only be freshly 2. Yeah. You know, so it's just like, yeah, it's a lot that I just really have to tune in with Him with. And yeah, so, like, that's really what I've honestly, all I've really been dealing with since everything. Because, yeah, November 1st we filmed, and was I pregnant then?
Yes, because we found out in October.
Yeah, you're right. Oh my gosh. So I was pregnant when we filmed, and you didn't even know it. Yeah, I was fresh. I found out super early. Yeah. I found out at 4 weeks that I was pregnant, which I've never found out that early.
Only probably like 7 or 8.
Yeah, so I was pregnant. I just didn't know it.
Like, did film, like, it wouldn't have been filming that. No,
I would have announced at all.
Until, like, later.
Yeah.
Like, maybe even until now, if we had even been consistent.
I didn't even announce on, like, my socials until I was what? I was like 13 weeks. Yeah. Yeah. So
we went to the Henry Clay to do the photos. That was an experience, y'all. Working with 3 kids. And because me and Maddie were like, we have a vision of what we're going to make happen.
It ended up fine.
It was so cute. But I was like, we were literally there for like 15 minutes, and I was like, I am sweating.
We were pouring sweat.
And it was something else, honey.
Pouring sweat.
It was something else.
But you know what? We did it. We did a great job. We did a great job. But yeah, all in that to just say, yeah, that's what I've been that's what's been happening. Yeah. And all to say that it's okay.
And on a lighter note, I will never get over how we told JB.
I put the pregnancy test on a pan and put it in the oven, and when he came home,
and she's going like, bon appetit. Because she was like, I have to tell JB tonight, and we're like watching his location. I could not tell him. We're like, how close is he? How much time do we have?
I tried to film it, and
it didn't.
It completely failed.
And she was like, "Can you check the cookies?" And JB is like, "The oven isn't even on, Maddie." then he opened it and saw.
And
I only
like,
know this from her telling me. I
"What?"
did not stay there
No, he
for
didn't.
that. I did leave.
But he was like, "Are you pregnant again?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh yeah." Like, that's great. And he was like, "Why do we get pregnant every 2 years?" Like, we do. Like, successfully, we have been pregnant every 2 years.
Your kids are 6, 4, 2, and a newborn.
Yeah.
You're doing it, honey.
Like, it's insanity. But you know what? We are.
The Lord said to be fruitful and multiply.
I mean, for real, though, I kid you not. So, me and Jonathan, disclaimer, we're all adults here. We're married. I don't take birth control. And, during intimacy, I'm so sorry, but the old-fashioned way of trying to prevent pregnancy, it's just not intimate, okay? It's just not it. So one day, we looked at each other and we laughed. And we were like, why are we doing this? This is not fun. Like, this isn't fun. And then I was like, if God wants us to have another baby, we will. And if not, we won't. And he's like, yeah, you're right. So we were like, cool. Like, like, why? What? So we weren't trying, but we also weren't obviously preventing it anymore. And then I kid you not, it was maybe like a month. And I found out I was pregnant after we said that together and laughed about it. And it's like, okay, God, we hear you. So, like, I know, obviously, God does not give us anything. And it's obviously his will. So it's like, at that point, I was like, okay, who am I to say that I'm done having kids? Mm-hmm. Literally, who am I to say that? And, God fixed my heart and obviously my husband's heart on that. Because at that point, we were like, if we have another one, cool. If not, cool. So that's kind of what we were. That's what happens. I feel like that's a good example of when you give it, like, it's in his control and not ours. Like, once we stopped trying to prevent, it's like, God's like, okay, here you go. Like, you know what I mean? Because I don't track my cycles. I don't do any of that. I don't. Like, I don't know when I'm ovulating. I know none of that. Mm-hmm. Like, if you asked me, you ovulating today? I'd be like, don't know.
Yeah. If I didn't get so sick for mine, I probably wouldn't.
Right. Some people have to. Some people,
where I get so sick, I'm like, I have to, because I have to start like a week out just to prepare my body for what's coming.
And some people do, and that's cool. But me, I'm like,
I mean, if you never had it, like, that's great. Like,
and my periods were so like this, so it's like, I couldn't tell you when I was ovulating. So, like I said, that doesn't show you, like. Yeah, so I know it's all part of his plan and his will, and I know that he will get us through it and all of the things. So, but to that being said, I do want to touch that, like, and I do think we need to do an episode on, like, moms, like, post-depression, and because that stuff is super real. And I learned this pregnancy that it's called prenatal depression, and it's real. And my midwife explained it to be a lot of the times women will go through this when they've already had kids. Mm-hmm. So, like, it's like, a pregnancy, like a multiple pregnancy. So, like, you've already had kids before. A lot of moms who are moms of multiples go through it. And I was like, that makes sense, But it's real and it's raw, but you can also be healed from it. So it's like not something that you are stuck in forever or something that you have to take a pill for forever. But, like, if you do have to end up taking something, it doesn't make you weak. Because I used to think that too. I used to think, like, well, I should be surrendering it all to God. I have the authority in Jesus' name to heal and to, rebuke this or whatever. And it's like, at the end of the day, we do. We have all power and all authority in Jesus' name to rebuke the anxiety, rebuke the depression, and, not accept it. But also, too, I kind of, like, see it as, what's the story in the Bible that I can compare this to? I don't know. I would even compare it to fasting, if you want me to be quite honest. Mm-hmm. Like, we all just need that little boost of something to get us through.
Like I said, like, when I added, like, my other antidepressant, I could have gone without it. Mm-hmm. But I was, like, my first day of school, I was at Kroger, and I was getting just, like, stuff to make a, like, classroom, like, rules poster thing for my kids to sign. And I felt like a giant weight on my chest. And I called my parents. I was like, I cannot breathe. My roommate came home. I was literally just bawling my eyes out, making this poster on the phone with, like, my parents and then my friend Mandy. And I just couldn't stop crying. And it's like, how is that also just like a way to live?
Yeah.
Like, because I was in constant prayer over it. Because, like I said, you know, like it was a moment where I was just like, the Lord was like, you have to like give it all to me. And I was like, I literally, you know, don't know what else I'm going to do, Lord, besides give it to you. But I was like, would it be good for me to keep doing this every day, to keep coming home from work and just bawling my eyes out because I feel like I can't breathe? And, you know, in public schools, like, you have a lot of kids. I had 22 students of 7-year-olds. They have a lot of emotions that you have to manage. And, you know, like, you set the tone. Like, you're the thermostat. So if I'm all over the place, they're all over the place. And I was like, I have to take care of myself because I'm in a mentally draining job, an emotionally draining job. And then I just go home. And then my poor roommate, like, she's the one who has to see it and, like, deal with it. And she is just, like, an angel because she is, like, seeing me at my literal worst and then, like, my best. And she's never, like, made me feel any shame, like, over that. And so, I needed that extra help. And I think that so many people are like, oh, you're a Christian. Like, you don't need those things.
Yeah, but it's like...
And I'm like, well, sometimes, you know, like, the Lord has still made things. It doesn't mean... Now, if you are like, oh, I have to have my anxiety medication, that's a whole different thing.
No.
I was like, I need this right now. And then, you know, in the last, like, few months, like, I've gotten completely off of it. And I haven't been that way since before March 20th, 2021.
The goal's not to have it long term. It's just to help. And I was sitting here and I was like, okay, how can I put this in, like, you know, kind of an analogy way or whatever. So I see it kind of like when God told, why am I just drawing a blank again? Peter? Yes. Peter. The fish in the boat.
Fisherman.
Was it Peter? Or
I think it was...
It starts with an S.
Simon? Yes.
Thank you. When he told Simon, like, go back. Go back. And he's like, well, we've been fishing all night. Like, there was nothing came. And he's like, go back. So they go back. But did Simon go back alone? No. So whenever he went and fished his net and he got all these fish back up, like, he had so many people come and help him get these fish back on the boat. Simon couldn't have pulled all those fish in by himself, you know what I mean? He needed that extra help, that extra boost to get all these fish in here. And it's like, and then he also needed to just trust in Jesus to go back out, even though he was like, we've been fishing all night, we literally got nothing. And Jesus was like, go back, go again. So I kind of look at it like that. Like, I'm not relying on the medicine that I'm on right now, but I look at it as like Jesus, he told me, like, it's okay. Like, he confirmed with me, it's okay. Like, take it. Because I've always been somebody that's like, I'm not taking that. Like, I can get through this. I'm not taking it. And then, you know, I've been healed before. And then I'm back here again. I'm like, why? You know, why, God? But he's like, take it. It's okay. So here I am. I'm going out into the water to get my fish. This medicine is my fish, okay? And then it's my help. It's my helpers, like, just for now. But it's not permanent. So not only am I trusting in God through whatever he's taking me through right now, but, like, I'm just having an extra boost of help. But I'm also going into it knowing that I'm not relying on this full term. My goal, and I have a goal for myself, is I will be off of it before I give birth. Like, that's my goal. Like, I don't want to be on it when I have this baby. So like, you know, it's just temporary and it's okay. Like, it's okay. So, like, you shouldn't be ashamed. And if anybody makes you feel ashamed that you take it, then I'm sorry. Like, you know, I'm really sorry, but don't be ashamed. But also don't rely. Like, I think that's the main thing is, like, don't rely on it and feel like, don't make it your goal to, like, be on it forever. But, like, because, you know, it can be our boost, but we really solely should rely and surrender it all to him. And with the combination of both, but that's really what I've been going through. That's all. And then work. I've been really trying to just kind of just see, you know, like, try to grow the business doing hair, but also, again, give it to him and kind of see where he takes me. like, am I meant to still do this? Am I not? I don't know. You show me. So yeah, kind of just seeing what happens. So yeah, that's really it. It's really it, y'all. Yeah. So yeah. And now we're just gonna be planning our episodes for season 2. Yes. My goal for season 2 is to have more people come on and share testimonies. So that's really my goal for this season. And then to have a few like pop-in episodes of like things. But yeah, that's really one of my main goals. It's just more.
Well, we have like a giant like notes page where we have like people we want to have on and topics, and I think definitely like specific like topics we have, like where she talked about like postpartum and stuff, you know, like that could be guests too. But I just think that there's certain topics where like we definitely like want to share about, just because also like there's so many things that I feel like are misconstrued like in this world. Like I was talking with one of my coworkers yesterday, and she was like, grace is a vastly misunderstood term in like the church now, and it's like used almost as like a band-aid for things, and we need to get back to like what it really is, what Christ said it is. And I'm like, well, there's a lot of things in the world where that like needs to like be said, and you know, so we ain't messing around. So
that's all I have. For this one, just
like
kind of filling you in on our life the past.
I am planning Maddie's baby shower, so that'll be fun.
Excited.
We literally started planning it like the day after we found out she was pregnant.
Well, she texted me and she goes, "I called dibs on baby shower." Like that's all she said, and I was like, "Got it." I'm like, Roger that. Understood.
A lot of my friends, like when they've been pregnant, like their like family has done it. Like one of my closest friends, like I wanted so badly to do
live showers.
I know, and I was like, I wanted to do that like for Maddie. To like,
I will say I do want to do my balloon arch.
Okay,
can I do it?
Yes.
Okay. Do you allow me to do it?
I mean, if you want to, we're all at the church just trying to serve you. So
okay. Well, if you have somebody else that can do it, great.
Multiple people who are wanting to help, so.
Okay. This is weird. Anyways, just kidding. Anyways.
Don't worry, guys. I have a plan. I am a professional.
She is. Anyways.
I try to be.
And then the, like, control freak in me is like, you know?
This is what
I am a control freak. But now we're excited. We're excited for all things 2026. I am doing June.
Yes, honey.
But he'll probably come in the end of May. It is a little boy. Yes. I'm not going to share his name yet, but I'm so excited. That'll be another episode. Maybe we'll do another catch-all episode, and I'll get to share like, his name and the meaning of his name.
Because that's something that's been really big. We have like a big women's group chat for like all of the women at our church.
Yeah.
And everyone's like been talking about like their goals and stuff because.
But then Pastor Bryant's sermon on Sunday.
Yes.
Hit different.
Yes. So our pastor talked about, you know, like having goals, but like also having like the discipline like behind them. Yes. And so I honestly feel like a lot of us have been very specific in like what we want.
But it wasn't even the discipline part for me that he said. It was the fact that what he said that really got me was, are we doing them for us or are we doing them for God? And that hit me.
Yeah.
Hard. And I was like, okay, period. Like, am I doing this for me or am I doing this for God and to glorify him? And I was like, period.
Yeah.
You know? Period. So, yeah. We'll just,
we can dive more into that.
Do that.
Yeah, because, I mean,
maybe that'll be our next one instead of, you know.
My goals, you know, like it mainly, like, relook at them, and I was like, okay, like, why do I have this, like, as a goal?
Maybe that can be our next episode. Yeah. You know? Yeah. As we're over here on the podcast, being like,
we knew that we wanted to talk about those things, but it was kind of like, will we talk about that
today?
Because if we started talking about this now, this would be like a 2-hour podcast episode. So we were kind of like playing it by ear. So,
but that's what's been happening.
Yeah.
So
maybe we'll have more to share of like what, like we're praying like over the year. I actually did something with my students that was so cute. I had us make verse of the year cards.
Cute.
And I was like explaining it to them, and I was like, this is not just like something to memorize. I said, this is something to like pray over your year. And so I was like, if you really want to maybe dive more into like a fruit of the spirit, because I felt like for fifth graders that would be easier for them to like get, or if you want to pray strength. And a lot of them picked verses that very much so surprised me in like a good way.
Oh, cute.
Of just like things where like, yes, you can actually like pray this over like your year. Like one of my students picked I think it was in Psalms, and it was like, I walk through the valley of the shadow of the death, like I will fear like no evil, and just like things that like I know like about his life and everything. I was like, dang, like I mean they actually picked verses that weren't like just like a verse, they found in the Bible, because I was like, think about like what you want your year to be. Ask your parents, ask, like if there's goals that like your family has, because I'm like, they're old enough to know like when stuff is going on. Like they're 10 and 11 and like 12, so they know things. I mean, kids
Mason's
pick up
5 and knows what's going on.
It's a whole other story that we should never talk about on the podcast, actually. So anyway.
No, he is. He's 5, and he knows like, everything that is happening.
Kids are sponges; they pick up.
They
on things. So
they're smart.
But I did it, and I'd seen something on Instagram where someone was just like sharing like different things, kind of like like for your birth like month and whatnot. But I read mine, and I like take those with a grain of salt. Normally. But I read it, and I was like, this is literally like what I've been praying over, like for my year. Like, because I feel like there have been lots of good things in the last 2 years, but I also feel like it's years where like I've been consistently like being broken. So I'm like, I was really just like, I want this to be like a year of favor and like rebuilding and like coming back stronger like with the Lord, because I know like you have to like have a breaking like with the Lord. And I was like, okay, I've had that for 2 years, Lord. I was like, please, I'm praying that this is like a year where like things like, obviously I said there have been lots of amazing things in the last 2 years, still lots of healing, lots of growth, but I'm also like, I like want to celebrate this year. I want this to like be a year of like joy and celebration, because there have been a lot of tears shed, and I'm like, let those tears be like what helps grow.
It's gonna be a good year.
So
2026.
Yes. So
I just needed to give you a little ASMR. But anyways, so season 2.
Here we come.
And if you have anything or topics or whatever that we've not touched on, and you hope we do, let us know.
We could do that on like our stories too.
If you have a testimony that
we do have someone who wants to share their testimony, which was so exciting, like how it all worked. I feel like it was honestly like a God thing, because my friend went to Passion, and someone in our church was like, I've really been praying about this, and I feel like I just want to like share my testimony, like, and I want to be on a podcast. She's like, God's really put it on my heart to be on a podcast. And then my friend texted me. She was like, I have a friend who wants to share her testimony. I was like, period. Perfect. Sounds great. I was so to reach out to her.
But just reach out to us. We obviously like put a lot in prayer into like who we have on, but like if you have a testimony and God's putting it on your heart to share it, reach out to us. We can do that process. And but I'm excited. It feels good to get back into it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, once I have a purpose to do like, you get in the groove of doing stuff every single day, and then like this is like something fun that like has been in fruition for such a long time. Then we come together when we do it, and it's just so fun.
It is.
Anyways, but we'll catch you on the next episode.
Yes.
And until then,
see ya.
Bye.